Welcome to First Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Ann Arbor. We have been working since 1865 to be a part of the difference that ends the cycle of human enslavement and brings the beauty of the earth to ubiquity among us. And the cycle of human enslavement is not finished its own work. It's taking different form, the form of injustice, the form of death, and the destruction of lives. And we are not doing all that's within our potential to end it. That's a truth so long as ever there is injustice anywhere. So the day calls us to sorrow over those who no longer have breath, whose life stories continue only by the whim of our memories, those who have suffered the hand of the injustice we have not yet ended. And then the community is called to get back to work, to do more to assure that our children and our children's children are closer to that edge of justice and freedom and fairness than we encountered for our inheritance. The first part of our service will make space for silence and lament and attention, for stillness, atonement, and naming of who we are in the world that presents itself to us today, and who we haven't been, who we could have been and weren't, in the fight to end the cycles which make the earth fairer for some than for others. And then I ask you to return with us to the home of your soul. We will use the old community technique of imparting wisdom to one another, the story. We will tell stories to one another, because in stories are how communities have passed on their lessons of wisdom and love and peace and their definitions of compassion for generations. This is how our children learn what we mean by justice, and how they learn that everyone deserves it. Return with me to the home of that soul. Grow the words love and peace and compassion with us by remembering, recalling, and hearing anew the stories we tell our children to make a difference in life. This is something we can do now. It's not all we're capable of, but it is something we can do. And more than pausing on grief, teaching our children and deepening our potential to break justice free is worth our time in common. We embrace you as you come. We welcome you. We embrace the call to claim again, to proclaim again, to reclaim again that Black lives matter. We welcome you with open arms to First Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Ann Arbor, and ask now that you prepare with us the space, in your own space, to wait for wisdom on the forming edges of our life and our day. Let everything that has breath take not that breath for granted.
If we want peace in the world, we've got to work on, work on, work on. If we want peace in the world, we've got to do
There is no way to light a match this week without saying George Floyd and Minneapolis. There is no way to put flame to candle without saying Breonna Taylor and Louisville. There is no way to watch the wick ignite without saying Tony McDade and Tallahassee. There is no way to gather community without saying Detroit, Los Angeles, Atlanta, Washington, D.C. There is no way to speak of truth, love, action, and peace without saying Black Lives Matter. Together, let us light the chalice with a unified voice. We light this chalice for the light of truth. We light this chalice for the warmth of love. We light this chalice for the energy of action. We light this chalice for the harmony of peace. Leading the covenant this morning is Kari Gottfried, who uses she/her pronouns and who has joined UUAA this summer as a student intern. While this is different from the formal internship required to become a UU minister, Kari will be just as involved with the life of the congregation as any other staff member. As a lifelong Unitarian Universalist, she has been very involved on the denominational level as a youth leader and brings a wealth of insight and experience to her role. Please join me in welcoming her warmly.
Hi, my name's Kari. I was raised in the UU Fellowship of Corvallis, Oregon, and I've been involved with regional and national UU leadership since high school. I am a rising sophomore at Wellesley College in Massachusetts, but I'm coming to you virtually from Oregon this summer. I will be supporting the church leadership in whatever ways I can. You'll see me in worship, during the pastoral care hours, and in one-on-one calls, and in SGD classes for all ages. My goal is to learn everything I can about this congregation, about its people, its ways, how you build this community. If you want to reach me for any questions, concerns, or just to say hi or welcome, you can email me at kari@uuaa.org. Amidst the crises of our country and the world, I hope to serve, support, and learn from this congregation in the next few months. As I join this community, joining in the promises you have made to each other, please join me in the reading of UUAA's covenant as the words appear in front of you. The spirit of this church is love, and service is its law. This is our covenant with each other, to dwell together in peace, to search for truth in love, and to help one another.
There is more love somewhere. There is more love somewhere. And I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more love somewhere. There is a cycle where a community measures its potency by its limits, where ounces of energy to build the beloved community run aground on division, distractions, disdain, and debate where conversation should be. There is a cycle that ravels the heart in habits of suspicion and silence in the very moments our impact depends on us to dwell together in peace, where a well-resourced, well-organized, fierce torrent is not our automatic response.
to the democratic sin of state-sanctioned lethal injustice. There is a cycle that ravels the heart and habits of suspicion and silence in the very moments the world depends on us to dwell together in peace. The cycle is foolishness. The cycle must break. We break it.
Hold some moments of silence with me. Silence in the face of injustice. Focus your attention on times when you remained silent, when you looked away, when you pretended you didn't hear, when you were fooled into being defensive or malicious because of the illusion of scarcity. Name these moments. Let them be.
I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more love somewhere.
Theodore Parker to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. to Barack Obama, the words now wait in our hands and in our hearing, wanting to make another difference. The moral arc of the universe is long, they say, but it bends toward justice. But the moral arc bends toward justice only when the people learn how to reach up, with their attention unflinching and their strategies steady. When they stay on the arc until the arc comes down to its rightful place. Reach up with me. Let the arc of all that is just bend closer to our grandchildren's arms. Gathered together, the weight of our will, the weight of our work can draw down the line of unfairness. Justice comes down when we decide to reach up, and then we do it.
Hold silence with me, the silence of what is possible. Focus on the times when you have overconfidently tried to bend the arc alone, when you have tried to bend the arc in community, when you resolved to no longer be silent in the face of injustice, when you opted for the most compassionate choice. Name these moments. Let them remind you of what is possible.
I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more love somewhere. There is a circle as wide as the compassion we're willing to give it. And the frayed edges of forgotten dreams meet the strong edges of others. In trying to break the cycle of foolish distractions and debate, we are skeptical this compassion is even possible. The fatigue and focus of bending the arc of the universe may make beautiful community making seem like a luxury. But communing wisely and well, loving to learn peace with one another, and learning to realize our compassions into the shape of useful change again and again, preparing our children to harness the community's power for world change. This is exactly the scaffolding that gives our work a chance. There is a circle as wide as the compassion we're willing to give it. The circle wants to be made whole again and again. We make it so.
Hold silence with me, the silence of centered stillness. Focus on finding a stillness within. This may be hard to do today. It may feel elusive, but do the best you can anyway. Imagine yourself in the center of a circle of compassion. Press the edges of the circle. Expand the circle. Who is on the margins? Who is outside the circle? Name them. Allow yourself to embrace them. Expand the circle. Keep the circle whole.
Circle round for freedom, circle round for peace, for all of us imprisoned. Circle for release, circle for the planet, circle for its all, for the children of our children. Keep the circle whole. Circle round for freedom, circle round for peace, for all of us imprisoned. Circle for release. Circle for the planet, circle for its soul, for the children of our children. Keep the circle whole. Circle round for freedom. Circle round for peace. For all of us imprisoned. Circle for release. Circle for the planet. Circle for its soul. For the children of our children. Keep the circle whole.
For the children of our children, keep the circle whole. Breathe into that for a moment, if you will. Breathe into that because we can breathe, remembering those who cannot, George Floyd, those who no longer have breath, Breonna Taylor, those who no longer, Ahmaud Arbery, have breath, Tony McDade, remember those who, Monica Diamond, no longer breathe. A mere handful named. This handful stuns us, yet it is but a handful out of countless hands full over hundreds of years, breathless black and brown bodies, queer and trans bodies, children's bodies. We grieve, we are angry, we are complicit, and so we lament. We have come together today to be part of this community, to lament together lives lost because of injustices that are at the core of law enforcement systems in this country, healthcare systems in this country, legal systems in this country. We have sought community in the midst of our heartbreak and despair. We seek to keep the circle whole even when we who are white struggle to manage the guilt of privilege and responsibility in maintaining these systems of injustice and the guilt of benefiting from them. Is it from this handful of names that we have finally learned that being indignant is no longer a response? I pray we have learned. A story is emerging from this moment that will be captured in history. The story is being recorded right now. We are writing it, and we can shape that story by listening with humility and learning from the people of color whose voices are the primary authors of this narrative. To tell stories is a human impulse. It is how we make meaning. It's how we collectively save and share the wisdom of our ancestors. It's in stories that worlds of wonder and possibility, peace and joy, love and hope exist. And so it is imperative that we bequeath these stories to our children and the children of our children. We lament the inability to have the answer, the quick solution, but perhaps with attentive listening, we can finally hear the wisdom from the past to help us through the uncertain future. This is the spiritual practice, to be silent long enough to hear the myriad other stories that have always been around us, stories that arise from voices that are different from our own. These stories matter. We must pay attention to them. We tell stories so our children can learn and we can remember. Open your heart. Be present in this moment to experience the community practice of storytelling. Be present to the joy in the telling, the receiving, and the reflecting on these stories for all ages. Open your heart wider. Make room for more love, more hope, more peace, more joy. These stories matter. Pay attention.
This Sunday, as we share stories with you, I've chosen to share one of my favorites from when I was a young child. It's P.D. Eastman's Are You My Mother? The story has been around since 1960, and I'm sure is familiar to many of us. A mother bird sat on her egg. The egg jumped. "Uh-oh," said the mother bird, "my baby will be here. He will want to eat. I must get something for my baby bird to eat," she said. "I will be back." So away she went. The egg jumped, it jumped and jumped and jumped. Out came the baby bird. "Where's my mother?" he said. He looked for her. He looked up, he did not see her. He looked down, and he did not see her. "I will go and look for her," he said. So away he went. Down, down, out of the tree he went. Down, 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 it was a long way down. The baby bird could not yet fly. He could not fly, but he could walk. "Now I will go and find my mother," he said. He did not know what his mother looked like. He went right by her. He did not see her. He came to a kitten. "Are you my mother?" he said to the kitten. The kitten just looked and did not say a thing. The kitten was not his mother, so he went on. Then he came to a hen. "Are you my mother?" he said to the hen. "No," said the hen. The kitten was not his mother, and the hen was not his mother. So the baby bird went on. "I have to find my mother," he said. "But where? Where is she? Where could she be?" Then he came to a dog. "Are you my mother?" he said to the dog. "I'm not your mother, I'm a dog," said the dog. The kitten was not his mother, the hen was not his mother, the dog was not his mother. So the baby bird went on. Then he came to a cow. "Are you my mother?" he said to the cow. "How could I be your mother?" said the cow. "I'm a cow." The kitten and the hen were not his mother, the dog and the cow were not his mother. Did he have a mother? "I did have a mother," said the baby bird. "I know I did. I have to find her. I will, I will." Now the baby bird did not walk, he ran. Then he saw a car. Could that old thing be his mother? No, it couldn't be. So the baby bird did not stop. He ran on and on. Then he looked way, way down and he saw a boat. "There she is," said the baby bird. And he called out to the boat, but the boat did not stop. The boat went on. He looked way, way up and saw a big plane. "Here I am, Mother," he called out. But the plane did not stop. The plane went on. Just then, the baby bird saw a big thing. "This must be his mother. There she is," he said. "There is my mother." He ran right up to it. "Mother, Mother, here I am, Mother," he said to the big thing. But the big thing just said, "Snort." "Oh, you're not my mother," said the baby bird. "You're a snort. I have to get out of here." Snort. But the baby bird could not get away. The snort went up. It went way, way up and up and up and up went the baby bird. But now, where was the snort going? Oh, what is this snort going to do to me? Get me out of here. Just then, the snort came to a stop. "Where am I?" said the baby bird. "I want to go home. I want my mother." Then something happened. The snort put that baby bird right back in the tree. The baby bird was home. Just then the mother bird came back to the tree. Do you know who I am?" she said to her baby. "Yes, I know who you are," said the baby bird. "You're not a kitten, you're not a hen. You're not a dog, you're not a cow, you're not a boat or a plane or a snort. You are a bird, and you are my mother." The end. As we reflect together on P.D. Eastman's Are You My Mother, I'd first like to offer a word to the younger members of our community. When you think about the baby bird, it's kind of a sad story at first, isn't it? There's this baby bird, he's just born, and his first experiences of the world are that of being lost. And he's looking for his mother. He's looking everywhere that little baby bird can think of for his mother. And for us human beings, a mom or somebody who's mom-like a mother to us, represents nurturing and love and care. And that comes in so many forms, all kinds of different ways, shapes, and forms. But one of the main things about that is the quality and the feeling of love. Love is what nurturing and warmth and caring looks like. And so, one of the interesting things about the story is the little baby bird is lost, but, if the dog had been really loving, maybe the dog could have been the baby bird's caretaker. If the hen or the cow had been really loving and wanted the baby bird to stick around and stay, maybe they could have even formed a family together. But instead, the baby bird got very simple responses, wasn't really welcomed, and so he kept looking for where might home be, where might the place be that love also exists. And the baby bird is lucky enough to find that at the end and find his nest, his family's nest. A community is about love, our community. A community is a place where we also have a feeling of home. For the adults and grown-ups amidst us, I'd invite us to hold this story with a little bit of poignancy, especially in the time that we're in. Let us not forget that one of George Floyd's dying utterances was a longing for his mother, a mother who had predeceased him. But in some recollection or known lived experience in those final moments, the longing out and the yearning for that essential universal quality of love, unconditional love, and being held in that. Very poignant when we think of that. When we think of how each and every one of us in this world of billions and billions of people is like the little baby bird, no matter what our age, still yearning inside us, that fundamental, intrinsic human longing for love and belonging and acceptance. And for some of us, the journey to that is longer and more difficult. Some of us are thrown out of the nest. Some of us slip accidentally out of the nest. Some of us choose to leave because the nest may not have been safe. And in that encounter of difference, always that longing, always that hope. Is this the place that will be home? Is this where love resides? Let us never forget that on any given Sunday, there are many who find us, sometimes for the first time, seeking us and finding us with that longing in their heart, that longing for human connection, that longing for recognition, that this is a place where love is brought alive. In honor of all those that long and suffer with that uncertainty of not knowing where belonging rests, where home could be, let us always strive to be the people of love and welcome that we are.
Once a month, this congregation gives the entire Sunday collection to a partner organization whose mission is aligned with our own. Today's offering will go to Our House, a nonprofit that supports youth in Washtenaw County who are in or have been in foster care.
Across the nation and here in Washtenaw County, youth who have aged out of the foster care system often begin adulthood with the odds against them.
About 1 in 5 former foster care youth were homeless for 1 or more nights within a year after leaving foster care. About 25% of former foster care youth experience post-traumatic stress. This is nearly 5 times that of the general population and exceeds the rates for American war veterans. Only 58% of youth who have left the foster care system had a high school degree at age 19, compared with 87% of the national comparison group of non-foster youth. We give foster care youth what every young person deserves:
the people, the knowledge, and the support to guide them to be successful adults.
Our programs emphasize 4 critical areas of success:
having an education, being employed,
securing stable housing, and developing a sense of community and belonging. Being a part of Our House means you can feel safe to be who you are. To know you are able to trust and are surrounded by peers and adults who care about your success. It's knowing there are people who can help you map out your goals and navigate life's challenges. It's a feeling that there's someone to help celebrate the highs and provide support during the lows. It's a community of people who care.
It's our house.
It's our house. It's our house.
It's our house.
It's our house.
The issue of what becomes of children and youth in foster care is a subject close to my heart, because that's how Emily and I adopted our son. While he came to us as an infant, older kids don't always find the same stability. And for youth who age out of the system, the outcomes can often be quite sobering. But our house envisions something different, something better for these young people, and is dedicated to helping them get there. So please, go today to uuaa.org/giving and make as generous a gift as you can. As someone whose life has been touched by foster care, I thank you for your generosity.
This morning, Ava and her mother were all smiles. It was Saturday. Because Ava's mother worked Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, Saturday was the day they cherished. On Saturdays, they zipped to the library for weekly story time. On Saturdays, they lounged in salon chairs and got new hairdos. On Saturdays, they picnicked in the grass for a peaceful afternoon at the park. And on this Saturday, they would also ride the bus across town for a one-night-only puppet show. The day would be special. The day would be splendid. The day was Saturday. Ava and her mother could hardly wait. So, zoom, off they went. But when they reached the library, story time was canceled. Oh no, Ava cried. It's canceled, wailed Ava's mother. They paused, closed their eyes, let out a deep breath. Don't worry, Ava, her mother reassured her. Today will be special. Today will be splendid. Today is Saturday. So, zoom, off they went. But as they left the salon, whoosh, their hairdos were ruined. Oh no, Ava sobbed. Our do's, boo-hooed Ava's mother. They paused, closed their eyes, and let out a deep breath. Don't worry, Ava, her mother reassured her. Today will be special. Today will be splendid. Today is Saturday. So, zoom, off they went. But their peaceful afternoon at the park was loud. Oh no, Ava groaned. What did you say? It's too noisy, yelled her mother. They paused, closed their eyes, and let out a deep breath. Don't worry, Ava, her mother reassured her. Today will be special. Today will be splendid. Today will be ruined if we miss that bus. So zoom to the extra special one-night-only puppet show they went. We made it, Ava exclaimed as they arrived at the theater. Thank goodness, Ava's mother sighed in relief. Hooray for Saturday, they cheered. Tickets, chirped the lady at the door. Ava's mother reached into her purse. But the tickets weren't there. Oh no, Ava's mother gasped. I left our tickets on the table. As Ava watched, her mother crumpled. I've had it, she sighed. Story time was canceled, our hair was ruined, the park was loud, and now we're missing the puppet show. I'm sorry, Ava. We looked forward to this all week, and I've messed up everything. I ruined Saturday. Ava was quiet for a moment. Then she closed her eyes and let out a deep breath. Don't worry, Mommy, Ava reassured her. Today was special. Today was splendid. Saturdays are wonderful because I spend them with you. So, slowly, hand in hand, off they went. When they reached their apartment door, Ava turned to her mother. She had an idea. What if we... Ava started. You know, we could, her mother began. So they did. What a beautiful day. The end. The book Saturday is such a beautiful story with a clear message about the importance of spending quality time with our loved ones. But as I reread it during this critical time, I'm reminded of all the other important lessons that it holds for us. Of course, right now it can be hard to remember what it's even like to go to a crowded, noisy park or to go to a beauty salon. And one hard day is not comparable to the pain in our country and the trauma that people of color have been experiencing for generations. But Ava and her mother remind us that in the midst of pain and struggle, including in the work for justice, there are resources that we can draw on. The first resource that they draw on is a simple ritual where they pause, turn inward by closing their eyes, and center themselves by taking a deep breath. This deceptively simple mindfulness tool is something we can all return to again and again. The power of our own breath can't be underestimated. The second resource that they draw on is the power of their connection to each other. Ava's mother tries to reassure her again and again, but when things get too hard, she's no longer able to hold that hope. So Ava helps her hold it, and she points her to something larger, the meaning of their time together. That is what healthy relationships and healthy communities can do for us. They give us a place where we can feel safe enough to fall apart sometimes. And they give us a place where we can practice being the ones holding the hope and the larger vision. The third resource that Ava and her mother draw on is the power of play and imagination. They feel their feelings. They don't try to gloss over them. But when they're ready, they use their imagination to create a new way of moving forward. And they invite in joy and laughter and playfulness. As the great activist and author Adrienne Marie Brown reminds us, these are tools for making justice. This time demands much of us. So may we find strength in our breath, in our relationships, in our imagination, and in our joy. And may we move forward into new possibilities together. May it be so.
Walk together, children, don't you get weary. Walk together, children, don't you get weary. Walk together, children, don't you get weary. There's a great camp meeting in the promised land. Walk together, children, don't you get weary. Walk together, children, don't you get weary. Walk together, children, don't you get weary. There's a great camp meeting in the promised land. Talk together, children, don't you get weary. Talk together, children, don't you get weary. Talk together, children, don't you get weary. There's a great camp meeting in the promised land. Sing and never tire. Sing and never tire. Sing and never tire. There's a great camp meeting in the promised land. Sing together, children, don't you get weary. Sing together, children, don't you get weary. Sing together, children, don't you get weary. There's a great camp meeting in the promised land. Shout together, children, don't you get weary. Shout together, children, don't you get weary. Shout together, children, don't you get weary. There's a great camp meeting in the promised land. Sing and never tire. Sing and never tire. Sing and never tire. There's a great camp meeting in the promised land. Talk together, children, don't you get weary. Talk together, children, don't you get weary. Sing together, children, don't you get weary. Shout together, children, don't you get weary. Walk together, children, don't you get weary. Talk together, children, don't you get weary. There's a great camp meeting in the promised land. There's a great camp meeting in the promised land. There's a great together, children, don't you get weary. Together, children, in the promised land. There's a great together, children, in the promised land. There's a great together, children, in the promised land. There's a great together, keep on walking. There's a great camp meeting in the promised land. Keep on walking. There's a great camp meeting in the promised land. Keep on singing. There's a great camp meeting in the promised land. Keep on shouting. There's a great camp meeting in the promised land. Keep on walking. There's a great camp meeting in the promised land. Keep on walking. There's a great camp meeting in the promised land. Keep on singing. There's a great camp meeting in the promised land. Keep on shouting. There's a great camp meeting in the promised land. Keep on walk together, children, don't you get weary. Walk together, children, don't you get weary. Walk together, children, don't you get weary. There's a great camp meeting in the promised land. Sing and never tire. Sing and never tire. Sing and never tire. There's a great camp meeting in the promised land. Walk together, children, don't you get weary. Walk together, children, don't you get weary. Sing together, children, don't you get weary. Shout together, children, don't you get weary. Walk.
Of Thee I Sing, A Letter to My Daughters, by Barack Obama. Have I told you lately how wonderful you are? How the sound of your feet running from afar brings dancing rhythms to my day? How you laugh and sunshine spills into the room? Have I told you that you are creative? A woman named Georgia O'Keeffe moved to the desert and painted petals, bone, bark. She helped us see big beauty in what is small, the hardness of stone and the softness of feather. Have I told you that you are smart? That you braid great ideas with imagination? A man named Albert Einstein turned pictures in his mind into giant advances in science, changing the world with energy and light. Have I told you that you are brave? A man named Jackie Robinson played baseball and showed us all how to turn fear to respect and respect to love. He swung his bat with the grace and strength of a lion and gave brave dreams to other dreamers. Have I told you that you are a healer? Sitting Bull was a Sioux medicine man who healed broken hearts and broken promises. It is fine that we are different, he said. For peace, it is not necessary for eagles to be crows. Though he was put in prison, his spirit soared free on the plains, and his wisdom touched the generations. Have I told you that you have your own song? A woman named Billie Holiday wore a gardenia in her hair and sang beautiful blues to the world. Her voice, full of sadness and joy, made people feel deeply and add their melodies to the chorus. Have I told you that you are strong? A woman named Helen Keller fought her way through long, silent darkness. Though she could not see or hear, she taught us to look at and listen to each other. Never waiting for life to get easier, she gave others courage to face their challenges. Have I told you how important it is to honor others' sacrifices? A woman named Maya Lin designed the Vietnam Veterans Memorial to remember those who gave their lives in the war, and the Civil Rights Memorial to thank the many who fought for equality. Public spaces should be filled with art, she thought, so that we can walk amidst it, recalling the past and inspired to fix the future. Have I told you that you are kind? A woman named Jane Addams fed the poor and helped them find jobs. She opened doors and gave people hope. She taught adults and invited children to play and laugh and let their spirits grow wide. Have I told you that you don't give up? When violence erupted in our nation, a man named Martin Luther King Jr. taught us unyielding compassion. He gave us a dream that all races and creeds would walk hand in hand. He marched and he prayed, and, one at a time, opened hearts and saw the birth of his dreams in us. Have I told you that you are an explorer? A man named Neil Armstrong was the first to walk on the moon. He watched the world from way up high, and we watched his lunar landing leaps, which made us brave enough to take our own big, bold strides. Have I told you that you are inspiring? A man named Cesar Chavez showed farm workers their own power when they felt they had none. The people were poor, but worked hard and loved the land. Cesar picketed, prayed, and talked. The people listened to their hearts and marched for their rights. Si se puede, Cesar said. Yes, you can. Have I told you that you are part of a family? A man named Abraham Lincoln knew that all of America should work together. He kept our nation one and promised freedom to enslaved brothers and sisters. This man of the people, simple and plain, asked more of our country, that we behave as kin. Have I told you to be proud to be American? Our first president, George Washington, believed in liberty and justice for all. His barefoot soldiers crossed wintry rivers, forging ever on. He helped make an idea into a new country, strong and true, a country of principles, a country of citizens. Have I told you that America is made up of people of every kind? People of all races, religions, and beliefs. People from the coastlines to the mountains. People who have made bright lights shine by sharing their unique gifts and giving us the courage to lift one another up, to keep up the fight, to work and build upon all that is good in our nation. Have I told you that they are all a part of you? Have I told you that you are one of them and that you are the future? And have I told you that I love you? As we just heard, in his book Of the Icing, former President Barack Obama poses a series of questions to his daughters. Have I told you, each begins, that you are creative, that you are smart, that you are brave, and so on. Each time he responds to his own question with a short vignette about a famous person who embodies that quality for him. His list is wide and varied, from Jane Addams to Cesar Chavez to Maya Lin. These are ancestors, and eventual ancestors, upon whom Malia and Sasha may call for inspiration and support. When I went back and read just the questions without the interleaved mini-bios, I noticed that the repeated phrase, "Have I told you?" took on a sense of urgency. Have I told you that you are strong? Have I told you that you are kind? Have I told you that you don't give up? Have I? Have I? It's as though President Obama were desperate to make sure that he handed off these stories to his daughters. As though this father was trying to fortify his children one last time before sending them out into the world on their own. The effect is only heightened for me by his final question. And have I told you that I love you? It makes me think about what my beloved friend, the Reverend Carol Sissel, wrote recently for Braver Wiser. She talked about how her no-nonsense parents gently but relentlessly reminded her and her brothers that they were capable, intelligent, equal, beautiful, and free. My mother and father armed us with this truth: the world is awful, magnificent, and belongs to you as much as it belongs to anyone else. Our own Dr. Rideout has told the story of how everyone in his church youth choir kind of rolled their eyes at having to sing Young, Gifted, and Black every single February without fail. They just didn't understand why their choir director was so adamant about it. Until much later, when, say, they were being followed around a store by a security guard. By then, though, their bodies had already memorized a different message about who they were. The young Black people leading the uprisings all around the country right now are writing their own chapter about who they are, about their communities, and about the unqualified truth that their lives matter. By no means am I glorifying the trauma being inflicted on them. I'm naming that in demanding their dignity and refusing to relinquish their humanity, they're crafting a narrative of collective liberation and love that will one day take its place in another book designed to inspire and support another generation of children. Amen, and blessed be.
Beloveds, as we enter a new week, I know that your heart, like mine, rests in a place of longing and also pain. Pain at the circumstances of our world and longing to see our values and commitments brought alive more fully in a world guided by mutual respect, dignity, care, and love. That longing matters, my friends. Nourish it and feed it. Do not let the oppression of these times suffocate the dignity that we are longing to bring alive for ourselves and for others, for that commitment, that deeper longing is what is true and what will abide and what will ultimately see the light of day. We are a people of strong conviction. We are part of a tradition that has worked consistently and untiringly to better the circumstances around us and to be a people that has made a lasting and positive difference. We are those people. Take care of yourselves, beloved, for these times are exhausting. Nurture the spark within you, for that light is needed. Rest in the love of this community, knowing that its flame is undying and eternal. Come back to it as often as needed, for we are a people who will not be swerved from the arc of justice. Go in peace. I love you, each and every one of you. Until we see each other again.